So our anthropology should not be set on just the guidelines or the laws of what the Europeans think is valid. We have other ways of doing it. Because when we really ask these particular questions, how in the hell do you think those ancient people wrote those texts down? Did they write the text down based on some text that they got from someplace else, or did they write them down from the spirit world? They wrote them down from a transference to the spirit world on those papyruses. So that world is still active. So we can do the same thing now. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just another avenue to let you know at this particular time on how you can do these things. Then to think that my only way is to go down and do it the way white folks do it. They have to do it that way because they ain't spiritual. There's an old saying, when the anthropologists come, the gods depart. That's an old ancient indigenous saying. Give me some questions right quick. What's that, sister?
Okay, I met a sister from Ghana, and she said that in her community, if somebody's killed and they don't know who did it, they can contact the spirit of the deceased.
That's right.
And ask him who killed you.
You sure can. Listen, let me explain something else why you said that, which brings up another point. A couple of weeks after I left Detroit, the last time, the sister Kimberly called and invited me and my goddess, Linda, said Dr. Charles Finch is bringing in a sister from Togo. She's the head high priestess of voodoo. But what makes her different, this is a woman, she's born in the cult. So she was not one that became a practitioner. Ever since she was a little girl, they saw this spirit coming to the earth, and they cultivated her when she got here because they knew she was going to be like the high priestess. So she's like one of the top voodoo priests of Togo. So we was up in there and she was giving us all this stuff. First of all, she said that they got this potion that a woman can rub on her hands. And when she rubbed this shit on her hand, she have a fucking line of damn niggas to get with her. I said, man, if I get that potion, no matter what age or whatever, they rub this shit on their hands, and it'd be a line of niggas trying to get with her. She could choose who she wants. I'm like, man, that'd be $1 million potion. I'm like, girl, you sitting on a damn gold mine. So it introduces the aspect of their alternatives. So I asked the spirit, well, can you give me some alternative? And they said, they told me to put, they said, one of the alternatives was to put this particular one together of these particular entities. You can't really see it on here, but these entities embraced in love together. And it's like Atiba said, they didn't put these statues and all this stuff together in the ancient world just for pretty pictures. They all had a meaning. So that was one way to focus on those particular pictures that bring a certain energy. But in the conversation, she was going into all this spirit stuff, and this is what happened. This is what happened. After a while, I knew the question was coming up because we was at the Morehouse Medical School. Some white woman stood up and said, can you give me any information on AIDS? I said, that's a good question. Here go the voodoo lady. Need to find out something on AIDS. So, the woman said, in all my years of practicing from the spirit world, I have never, ever, ever heard of anything called AIDS. She say, now, people have come to me after being diagnosed with AIDS from the white doctors or from the black people over there practicing Western medicine. She said, but every time they come to me, it's always something else they sick with. But I have never, ever heard of AIDS. In all of her years, and she's the top woman on the spirit realm, and like you said, she said that, she said that one woman was pregnant, and it was going on 12 months. And basically she needed a cesarean. But a part of her spiritual system she was in, they didn't believe in that. You know what I'm saying? So they came to her, and there was a certain egg she had to swallow, some goose. And she said she swallowed that egg, and the next morning, the baby was laying on the doggone cover, and the egg on top of the damn baby. Living. What's interesting here, she had a little white doll baby. That's when I knew that the Africans don't have the same concept of color that we do. Why? Because they're around black people all the time. So they are never, the concept of being, to even come to the concept of what is your skin color, where it being that question, that concept doesn't come to them. You understand what I'm saying? You know, we look at everything with black and white because we have to. We grew up in a world after those particular margins and boundaries. You see what I'm saying? So she had a little white doll baby. I don't know, what the fuck this woman doing with this little white doll baby on her lap? Then I said, well, you know, get past that. They didn't understand the color concept. They don't get that concept. I said, well, now the spirit could at least told her. But somebody asked, what you doing with that little white doll baby on your chest? She had it with all the time. She said that she was born with twins, and one of the twins died at birth. And she said, by her being spiritual, the twin fucks with her, you know, and she don't acknowledge it. So she has to carry this little baby around, this little doll baby, so it can get ease with that twin. You see what I'm saying? But going back and on, yeah, there's ways to know that too. There's ways to know that too, which has to do with the heart chakra. So we'll go when we go deeper into that particular thing. So that's a very good question. They can find out who killed things and all, and that's what we're trying to say. There's ways. I know me as far as the only thing we're doing here is we're not necessarily coming with saying, you know, hey, this is the Bobby Hemmitt way. The only thing we're doing is coming to the people who are enlightened, and we're supposed to report our spiritual experiences. And that's basically what this commentary is about. Me reporting my spiritual experiences to a group of people who are enlightened, that you're trying to connect the dots, other than me coming up into you saying, this is the way, follow me. It's not about that no more. You understand what I'm saying? It's not about that. It's a matter of giving you a consortium of information that you can make your own way with it. When you come up against some shit, you go, well, damn, I heard this in a lecture before. And, you know, and I know now that nigga is lying, or I know now that this brother's telling the truth. You see what I'm saying? Like that also. So, on that particular level. So, we now have that particular level of maturity. And that's what my